Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I want to talk about something that really comes down to this training stuff and this training ways and these training systems and these training methods and all this stuff when it comes down to these dogs, that there's just a huge disconnect on these lands that, for me, I like to be able to be that bridge to be able to bring this stuff all back together, because for some reason there's some folks over here that do it away. Then there's some folks over here that do it away. And there's like no one that just wants to talk about that in-between stage. That in-between stage of, you're not on the one side of, you have these dogs to do a specific task, specific work for you. And the way over there side that I just personally see have like the most premium dogs that anyone could ever just, like, if you're just visually looking and then hearing how the guys and the girls talk about their dogs, is the people that are using the dogs to hunt. They'll go pigeon hunting, like all bird hunting, boar hunting, all this kind of hunting. These dogs are like some really, really nice dogs. And they're training these dogs to go and chase and pursue. They're training these dogs to just go and do what they need. They're training them to stalk and to be able to point. They're training the dogs to be able to just literally do everything that the other side of all the training, on say the pet dog style of training, says never to do with the dog. You should never let the dog chase, because all it's going to want to do is keep chasing. But yet you can go way over there on the side of where the hunting side is, and you don't see that. You see the dogs do it with what I want to say is time and place. The dogs aren't just sporadically on a hunt and they're out there and the dog is just chasing whatever, anything that's in the area. No, the dog is dialed in and is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And they're coaching and cheering on the dog to chase. They're like encouraging it so much. They're like, yes, get it, get it, get it. They're like wanting the dog to chase. But yet, in the end, the dog stops wanting to do it in a sporadic and it does it in a controlled manner. But then on the other side of the pet dog side of it, they're like, never, ever, 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 ever let your dog chase, even if it's some fake stuff. Don't ever let them have no flirt pole to run after. Don't ever have them no lure course. Don't ever even allow them to be able to chase one little rabbit, one little what's another good one? Squirrel. Because as soon as they do it once, they're just going to have a desire that they're going to be hooked. They're never going to want to stop. So every single thing they see, they're going to want to keep on chasing. That's just not true. That's just not true, because if that was true, that means that the people that are doing it with the hunting dog, that their dogs would also be just on a sporadic all day long. I mean, I even got my neighbor's dog that is just, he runs it. This is what the thing I'm going to say is, the folks that are really using their dog, especially the real hunting folks, they work, they play, they interact, they do a lot with the dogs. It's not just I put it in the crate and I never mess with it no more. They do a lot with the dogs. They exercise the dogs a lot, because it's in reality needed to be able to have a good, a healthy dog to be able to do the tasks that they're looking for. So they're doing a lot more with it, and they're doing a lot more in the way that is going to be able to allow the dog to be able to flourish. And a lot of dogs to be able to flourish is not saying to the dog, oh, you like to chase? Well, you can never do that again. Because that's the weird thing that I've realized of just paying attention to both of these sides, and then me just coming into that middle section and saying, hey, we all don't have a desire to need to get our dogs to go out there and chase some live animals for us. We're not going pigeon hunting this weekend with my dog. I'm not going boar hunting with my dog. That's some danger. That's some dangerous stuff, I will say. That's you heading on to a higher level of difficulty. And when they're doing like the mountain lions and all that hunting with the dogs, and the bear hunting with the dogs, that's some extreme stuff. But when it comes down to some pigeons, some vermin things for even instance, and it's not so dangerous in that sense. But the dogs are still, they're doing what they're doing, and we're encouraging the dogs to get out what they need to get out. But most people, you don't need that. You don't need that. But yet you have a dog that needs that, because that's what that dog was bred and created to do. The dog was bred and created to go chase, to go point, to go find, to go search, to go do something. But then we're saying, no, the dog can never do that. And we're listening to what I want to say is the pet side of things, and say, never, ever, 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 ever let your dog chase anything. That's where you're going to be struggling with this dog. I know you're struggling with this dog, because if you're going and you're like, I need help and I don't know what's going on, and the obedient stuff is not helping with your dog, I'm telling you, it's not a matter of my dog is disobedient, it needs more control. That's how I'm going to be able to get my dog to listen to me. That is not the route to go. The route to go is the dog has something in it that it needs to do. It needs to get out. And us as humans today, we're starting to get, I don't want to say we're starting to get smart, but we're smart. We understand that the dogs have these needs behind them, and we've created things. We've created games, we've created systems, we've created stuff to be able to allow the dogs to be able to still be able to do what they need to do, but not in a way that it's going to, because this is the part. This is why it's hard for a lot of people to watch like hunting trainers. It's all sounds good how they talk, because they talk. It's not only that it sounds good, it is good how they communicate, how they are with their dogs. They're asking what's going on with the dog. Why is the dog doing this? As opposed to just shut the dog up. I don't care about the dog. But when they start to show the techniques of like, how do I get this dog to stop chasing, or not stop chasing, how to get, stop chasing pigeons, to be able to just lock on and be able to flush the pigeons out instead. It starts to get into people's brains, because they're seeing the animals aspect of, well, you don't care about the pigeon, you don't care about the chicken, you don't care about the cow, you don't care about the this, you don't care about the that. You're just allowing the dogs to just be able to chase and do and maul and do whatever they want. It looks crazy. It looks crazy. It gets in our feelings. But that's just a part of some of us, our lens of how far disconnected we are from the reality of what we were doing with these dogs before. We no longer live this way. We're living in grocery stores today. We're living in malls today. I don't know, malls are kind of getting out of business, but we're living on Amazon today. We're living on all these things today. We're not living in the natural real world anymore today. We're living in this artificial things. So when you've lived so far away from the artificial stuff, when you see something of a natural sense, it's scary. It's like, it's even to the sense of, if a lion is going after a gazelle, that's some intense looking stuff. The hyenas that are going after even a lion sometimes, that's some intense stuff. That's not just like, oh, look, it's so cute. No, there's some savageness that's going on. And that savageness is just the reality of the world. But what they're doing with these dogs is allowing us to be able to say, sometimes, but not all times, minimize the savageness, to be able to allow us to be able to get stuff done effectively, efficiently, quickly, so we don't have to sit here and just keep playing around all day and all night. And it's something that is incredible, because these people are able to get the dogs into what I want to say is a premium place, because they're allowing the dogs to do what is inside of them to do. And a lot of us have those dogs. A lot of these dogs are out here, a lot of them that still have this hardcore, hardwired desire that they have to get something done. And every single day they're living, they're just not getting anything done, over and over and over. They're just sitting back. They're just sitting in the house. They're sitting in, I don't care. Crating in the house, it's the same thing. The house is a crate. It's just a bigger version of it. Your apartment complex is the same thing as a crate. If the dog is just isolated and it's stuck and it stays in there. Your whole entire big house and your big backyard, it's still just a crate, because if the dog isn't able to do what it needs to do, and it's just walking, pacing, circling, doing whatever, it's still locked in, not able to get out what it needs to get out. So that's why we have these games, such as a flirt pole, such as nowadays we got drones, such as I want to kind of get one of these drone things and put a bag and hang it and get it whipping, because the sound of it gets the dogs going as well. It makes a weird sound, and like gets the dogs to just want to chase. But we have all these little things to be able to give to these dogs, to be able to fulfill their needs, to be able to allow the dog to be able to express who they are, so that they can get all this extra tension, this extra anxiety, this extra pressure off of them. And there's some reason that there's just like one side that's just like all about that. Let the dog chase, let it run. And we actually use the chase to teach the dogs what it is that we're looking for. And we encourage the chase, push it, which is weird, because like, what was an e-collar in reality originally made for hunting purposes. They weren't putting the e-collar on the dog to convince it not to chase. They were putting the e-collar on the dog to convince it how to chase harder, how to go even more. So that's why when you see it, because my lens looks at it and sees it that way, and I know that that's what it does to the dogs, is it's supposed to activate the dog to want to get more intense. It's not supposed to shut the dog down and suppress the dog to get it not to want to do something. Today we're using it in the opposite sense, thinking that I could use it to shut this dog's behavior down. And so if it's chasing, I'm going to shut the dog down from chasing. So, Shadow, we good? Oh, we good. I want to shut the dog down from chasing, but in reality, the original purpose of it was to convince the dog to want to chase harder, but chase harder in, say, the lane, the zone that we want the dog to be able to chase in. So this is why when they use it in protection sports today, it's an incredible thing to be able to see when you understand the purpose of the equipment, on why there's going to be certain people that are always giving pushback to how my e-collar isn't suppressing my dog, it's actually activating the dog. Because that's true. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to activate the dog. It's supposed to like make the dog want to go even more tough. It's supposed to make them push even harder, not to shut them down and to make them just be scared and be nervous and not want to do it again. So we're using things in the opposite sense. And that's why on one side of it, they're using this equipment, because in reality, you go to any hunting place, they have e-collars galore all over the place. And they're not using it to say, I never want the dog to chase. They're using it to say, I want the dog to be able to chase harder. That's where the disconnect is. On the pet side of it, it's a complete opposite. We're putting the e-collar on the dog to get the dog to never, ever chase again in its life. If you do that to the dog, that's where you're having the issues. Where the dogs, it's like my e-collar works, but it's like I gotta always have it on, and my e-collar works, but I gotta just it's like a battle that you're constantly in. But on the hunting side of it, they're not battling with the e-collar. They literally put it on for when they need it, and then it's off and it's done, and the dog is good to go. I've seen this. I've seen my neighbor do this to his dog. I've seen this from many, many dogs. They put the collar on to teach the dog, and then to show the dog like for one, just one major thing is don't go into the street. The dog don't go into the street, but we're not saying let's not chase. They're encouraging the chase. They're like, yeah, get it, go, push. They're like wanting the dog to chase. And then what's crazy is the dog stops chasing in the end. The dog does it in the word I want to use is a controlled, calculated way. Because the dog, that's in the dog already that we've been breeding for hundreds and thousands of years now. Not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands. I'm still not sure if we've been breeding these dogs, and I'm still not sure if we've been on this planet for more than 100,000 type years, or at least us as we know it today. Maybe something else before, but that's a whole talk for another day. But we're coaching the dogs to do it. And this is the part where it's like there's just the middle ground that just doesn't seem to be talked about much when it comes down to dogs. The middle ground, everyone that even tries to create new dog sports, the middle ground, they're still layering in so much obedience. They're like, your dog needs all this obedience work. If your dog isn't be able to do all these, then your dog's not going to be able to be a good dog. And that's I don't know many on the hunting side of work that they're worried about obedience commands. They're worried about a calm dog. They're worried about a dog that has good self-control, or what they want to call it in the dog sense is impulse control. They're worried about that with the dogs. They're not worried about the dog being able to perform a perfect sit. They're worried about the dog being able to understand how to be able to be in a high tense, high energy, high active environment and being able to get them to channel in and be able to zone in and be able to relax down in and just say like, I'm good, I'm fine here. Knowing that there's something going on over there that's chasing, I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to get in on that. I'm just going to be here. I'm going to be by myself. I don't need to join in and get into the middle of that. That's what they focus on with these dogs. And they're focusing on getting the dogs to go to go all out, to go retrieve, to go run, chase, swim, dive. Some of these labs are impressive on, like, especially if you look at the sports side of the things that they do with them, how they're sending them off like 1,000 yards out to go pick up a duck. They're making it swim through stuff and jump and climb, and it's wild. These dogs, and they're pushing the dogs to do all that to bring the dog back. And when the dogs do that, what do you see in the end at the house? You see the most happiest, most enjoyable, most amazing lab that you'll ever see in your life, because it's able to do what it was bred to be able to do. And the middle part is we have so much fake stuff today. You can go to, I don't know how many people got these stores around, but we got these stores, what is it called? Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, all these stores. You go into these stores and you start to look at the stuff that they have. They got all these little dummy things, like it's not so much as the tug. It's the retrieve. And they have these like dummy launchers where you could put the little toy on the launcher and you could blast it off and you can have your dog understand, I'm going to go chase to go get that. And then you get your dog to understand, okay, I'm going to wait until it falls, and then I'm going to go find it and then retrieve it and bring it back. This is things that's inside of all the dogs. And we have all kinds of fake things. We have fake launchers that you can set the launcher out somewhere in the field, and you could put a little fake bird inside of it. Doesn't need to be a real one, because that's what gets in a lot of people's feelings is I don't want my dog to go chase and kill a live bird or a live pigeon. We got fake little things that mimic and move and do weird stuff. You could put a launcher out there and then have your dog go find it. It gets close to it. You release the launcher and the dog's like, yeah, there it is. And it activates the dog's drives to be able to get out what it needs to be able to get out. And it's not something that you do every single day, every single week, or even every single month. It's something that you just do on most cases. Most people that use these dogs for real work, they're going on hunts, every 3 or 4 months. It's not an everyday situation. And for one, the dogs can't even keep up with that every single day, especially when you really start working the dog in what they're able to do. They get tired. 15, 20 minutes. They're tired. And I'm talking about like dogs that are in good shape dogs are going to get tired in 10 to 15 minutes of chasing and running and going and coming back and doing all this. They just they can't last. And that's why when you do it and you get all that out of the dog, and the dog's like, I'm good to go. Because some dogs, in my opinion, a lot of dogs, the reasons that they're having issues with it is not because it's a disobedient issue. It's because the dog has something in it that it needs to get out, that it needs to do. And we as a human beings today and where we are, how we're living, we're stripping all of that from the dogs, thinking, no, my dog wouldn't know how to go chase and hunt. That's not my dog. It is your dog. It is your dog. Would your dog want to kill something? More likely not. Most dogs in reality kind of don't. They're not out to just go kill something. We actually have to, like, for most dogs, we got to coach them. We got to, like, really dial it up to get them to actually do it. But do they accidentally start to kill stuff? In my mind, yeah, because they have all this amped up energy that is just insane. And they've never been able to run. They've never been able to get it. So when they finally get to that for the first time, it's just the craziness happens because they've never been able to release. And when that release happens, they get a pigeon, they get a squirrel, they get a skunk, hopefully not a skunk, but they get a rat, they get something, they get another dog, they get something, they get a person, they get a kid, because they've just never been able to have a chance to be able to get it out. But for a dog that's working, that is on, that has its outlet, has its games, has its whatever it needs, it's in reality hard for a lot of these dogs to start to kill stuff outside of, not even, because terriers we were breeding a lot of these terriers to go mouse and rat and mink and skunk and all these little vermin hunting dogs. So, like, we were creating them to do that. So of course they're going to go in and go for the kill on the rat right away, because that's what they're supposed to do. But even me, at my house, it took me, my goodness, like months to convince the dogs, because that's where I was slightly getting a little irritated with my dogs a little bit. I'm like, you got the rat in your mouth. Let's just go ahead and shake it and get it out of here. Let's just kill it. But they wouldn't. They would get it in their mouth and it would like wiggle, and they're probably like, ooh, what the heck is that? And then they would just spit it out. And then the thing just runs up the tree again. I'm like, oh man, we just had that one. I had to like really like drill this in, like, let's get it. You got it? Let's get it. Now Ophi, she's like the Dalmatian, she's a professional at fighting these mice. Let a mouse be anywhere near her. She's quick. I don't know how she's so fast, but she's quick. But she knows how to get it. But she's quicker today because she knows how to actually get it and hold it and not let it go. And she knows that that's an option. So she's going to get faster and more proficient at it. But as far as like the pigeons and even chickens and all the goats and cows and all these things, the dogs don't go to kill them. They go to move them. They go to hold them down. They go to gather them, but they don't go to kill them. And when you're using the dog to keep pushing the dog in what it is, you're going to see that about your dog. It's got something in it that it needs to release. It's got something in it that it needs to get out. And if you're saying to the dog every day, no, you're putting the e-collar on the dog saying you can't chase, as opposed to the main reason we put these things on the dogs is to convince them to chase harder. You're in a conflict of interest right now, especially if you have I don't know if these are the right words or not, but we use them. A purebred dog that came from a, say, hunting source that they've been using this dog and breeding from this dog for hundreds of years. You have a dog now that you're trying to say not to chase with putting a piece of equipment such as an e-collar on, and that dog is already genetically disposed to know what that piece of equipment means based on just its ancestry lineage. You're headed for absolute failure, because you're trying to use it in a way of saying no, and the dog is like, hey, but I'm supposed to want to do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I know you want me to do this. This is why I'm here. I'm here to do this. But now you're going to tell me not to do this? You're going to have a huge conflict of interest. And a lot of these dogs, all mixed up, all in between, they all have something in them that they have a purpose and a desire. Something in them that they absolutely just have to do. Something in them that is like calling their name of saying, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. And every single day when it comes down to all the, say, commercialized, mainstream pet dog training stuff, is to say never, ever, ever let your dog be able to express who they are. Because once they do, you're not going to have any control over that dog anymore. That dog's going to be just running a fool. It's just going to be wild. That is the part where, for me, that's being able to come into the middle of both of these sides and say, that is not true. That is not true. That is not true. We have fake things. This is why, for me, even with my collie, with all my dogs, I have fake stuff to just test and play around with to see. Can I get a game going with a plastic bag that will convince my dog of being the same thing as going off and chasing a duck or chasing a ferret or chasing quail or chasing something and retrieving it and bringing it back? Can I do that with the same way? Yes, I can. But it's a matter of, you do have to do something here. You got to get up and do it. But at the same time, going to a traditional commercial style obedience type work, they tell you got to do these drills all day, not all day, but every day, over and 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 over again. So it's still a lot of work. But the thing here is, it can look like it's fun when you're giving a dog a treat and it seems like the dog is having a good time. But is it really? When you're allowing the dog to be able to do something such as chasing and running around, going after a flirt pole, to be able to get that run out, you will actually see a true happy looking dog. Not a dog that's just like, ooh, let me get the treat, let me get the treat, let me get like this begging happiness. You will see a truly fulfilled happy dog when it's able to run and do what it has to do. You will see a completely difference of a look between the animals. And most of us today were thinking the dog is happy because it appears to be, because we have this piece of food in its face and look at it, it looks happy, and it's not really fulfilled. It's happy that it's going to get this dose of this I don't want to use medicine because it's not the correct word of saying it, but this dose of food that is like a strange foreign thing for getting it for doing absolutely nothing. So of course the dog is going to be extra excited at that as well. But you're not really seeing a truly fulfilled dog. When the dogs are running and doing what they're doing, it's such a joy to be able to see them do that. And then when you're doing that together with them and they see that you are having fun with them, that's where things line together, that everything is looking really good. So it's so funny to me when someone says, oh, your dogs look happy because they're chasing something. I'm like, yes, they should be like on cloud million thousand. They should be the most happiest as all ever can be. They should be the most fulfilled in life because that's what they were meant to do. They should look happy. They should be excited. They should just like have this like rampage of like, yes, like, oh my goodness, because that's who they are. But the thing is, when you let them do that and you have so either you have a need for it where you need that, or you have a game set up for them to be able to do that, you're going to see things just like, I don't know how to explain it, but settle to a way that you're going to be so impressed with. But it's like there's just, for some reason, it's like you got to only be a hunter or you got to only be a pet dog trainer. And there's like nothing in the middle. Like those are your only options. You can only you got to let your dog chase and go to an open field and run and have fun and only chase live animals and real animals. Or your dog can never, ever even think about eyeballing a squirrel. If it does, we're gonna put that e-collar on a blast, and we're just gonna blast that dog to make sure it never looks at another squirrel again in its life. That's so horrible. That's so horrible. Thank you. So we got one of our first pretty decent day rains. It's been raining at night a lot around. I don't know what it is. It's kind of peaceful to sit outside in the rain some. And you out there just getting dirty today, my girlfriend. I got to bring a towel in for you. But I'm surprised you're actually starting to. This is a weird thing that I always notice. I've had many of the dogs that are like scared of the rain and stuff. They're like pretty much almost 100% of dogs that I bring, especially if I bring them here and from somewhere else, or I'm working with someone and working with the dog, they're scared of the rain. But I noticed that my dogs aren't. And then when I get dogs that I come here, because when I got this Dalmatian, she's not about being in the rain. But my dogs are all like almost rain time. I don't like doing it too much anymore because it causes me to have to do a lot of work because I got to do a bath time, rinse time, because the paws get like caked on mud and we just get dirty. But we go out there and we just have a good time. And then I realize that the dogs just start to when it rains, it's like they're not scared, nervous of the thunder, not scared, nervous, because I get out there and I just run them, I play, we have a good time. Then the dogs they're no longer scared of it. They look at it like, oh, okay, whatever. I know a lot of y'all struggle with your dog. It's raining out and you open that back door up and like, go potty, and the dog looking at you like, I'm not about to go out there. But mine, I open the door up and it's raining. They're like, yeah, let's go out here. I got to sometimes like call them back and say, hey, come on, guys, like let's get back over here right now. There's never that issue of like trying to get them to get out in it. But then again, that's another thing of getting out and doing stuff in it. Get up and be in the rain. Your dog is scared of thunder, get on the patio and just sit out there and hang out. Don't be giving a dog no treats. Don't give a dog no pets. Don't be giving a dog no nothing, but just sit there and hang out. Allow the dog to be able to soak it in, to be able to see what's going on, as opposed to thinking that I need to run away right now. That's the first videos I ever watched on the talking about the trust technique of a dog that's scared of thunder and lightning, and they're just hanging out with the dog. The dog tries to come in and tries to cuddle up on you, and you kind of just, you're fine. You just stay over there. We'll be okay. And through time, it's normal. It's nothing to worry about anymore, because the thunder is hard. Because we don't know where it's coming from. So it could be there, So the dog's trying to run away. It's unfortunate, like thunder and firework season time. So 4th of July and New Year's, especially around here, that's the most of the times that the dogs are gone because they hear it and they don't know how to escape it. So they're running and running and running and running, as opposed to just hearing it and realizing I'm in the safest spot that I could be in right now because nothing's happened to me. Nothing's happened to me. So they can hear the thunder, see the lightning and stay here and realize they get scared. They're going to try to run away. But this is where you keep them on a leash. They're going to try to run away. But then they settle and say, realize like, oh, I didn't die. Nothing hurt me. Then they'll hear it again and then do it again and then hear it again. And then they realize I'm in the safest spot. If I just stay here, that out there can't come and get me. That's where you want to, and that method works with a lot of things, especially if you got a dog in your house right now that's like pacing and scared and nervous. A dog in your house that's trying to bark everyone away and trying to get everyone gone. A dog even in your yard that's sitting there barking everyone away that's trying to be around. There's ways around all this, but it takes for one, having to get up and do it. And two, having to ask why. Why is my dog freaking out in this, and start to really assess the situation so that you can see how to be able to dial through what it is that you're looking for, to be able to explain to the animal. I know you're scared. It's okay, man. I see that. It's okay. I'm not want to say to you that you can't be scared. That's a big thing with everything that I'm talking about. I know you want to chase. I see you. But we can't just do it all the time, anywhere, any situation. We could do it over here, as opposed to saying you could never, ever, ever. It's something that is just, it's weird. It's weird. But in my mind, the way I see it today, the more that you're trying to tell the dog that it can't be who it is, the more you're going to keep needing someone's help to keep trying to get you to get to a better place, as opposed to getting to be able to get to the place that you're on your own and you're able to keep up and being able to do what it is that you need to do. It's something that is unfortunate on the whole consumerism part of our planet. It's all about how can I keep you hooked that you need more. I don't know of many hunters that are like needing the assistance of like anyone. They work their dog, they get their dog, and if they get a trainer to come in to help them dog, they're good. They're on the way. They're gone. They're good to go now. But on the pet side of things, as soon as you call in a trainer for one thing from a pet dog trainer, it's like you're stuck. It's like you're just hooked. You're needing more and more and more and more and more. Because the main thing is, for some dogs you get success on the pet dog side of things. The dog just doesn't give a crap. It's just a dog that has no desires behind it but being what the dog was, a nanny dog. It's just a dog that just hangs out at the house. It doesn't do anything. We're breeding some dogs for that. So yeah, you're going to be able to get great success. But on the other side of that, you got yourself a whole completely different type of dog that's just jumping and moving and going and cruising and making it happen. You can't just tell the dog to sit down and shut up. The dog's going to sit down and start to holler and make more noise and start to give a whole lot more pushback. But when you start to allow the dog to be able to get that run out and get the chase and get the game that it needs, you're not going to need that person anymore. And that's the unfortunate thing, is how the system is set up. They don't want that. They want you to need them. They want you to have to be hooked to them. They want you to be stuck on them. They want you to be begging for their assistance. They want you to be hoping and wishing and praying that you answer their phone call at every moment's notice. Because if you don't, then they're going to be lost and they don't know what to do. That's weird to me. That's the negativeness in a lot of this dog stuff that I see, that I'm going to do my absolute best to not even care to expose, but just to talk to the side of folks that are struggling with your dog, that none of this stuff is working. And in reality, I learned this from a very well-known horse trainer and a very well-known dog trainer. People aren't going to listen to what it is I have to say up front. They got to go to the fifth trainer. They got to do that. They got to go that route. And I would hope at some point, sometime in my life, that I would be able to change the roles of that. But I don't think that's not for me to be. That's not for me to. I can't change the world. I struggle even trying to change my own self. I can't change the world. So it just is what it is. I'm not going to be the first trainer. I'm always going to be the fourth or the fifth and maybe sometimes the second. But even if I am the first, I'm not going to be the last, because they're going to hear what I have to say and then they're going to hear something somewhere else and they're going to try to go into that. That's just the pull that the world has. And that's the unfortunate thing of how it is. It's even for my own self. I did what I did, and then the dog training stuff got me hooked into it. And then I got hooked into that. And then I'm like, no, I want to go back to my old ways that I used to work with my dogs. 'Cause I used to have much, much better success than what it is that I started doing with, especially my Johnny here. I couldn't be out in the field without him being in obedience command. He had to be in a heel, he had to be in a down and a stay, something for him to be out there. Because otherwise the dude was just on a rampage, just chasing everything and just, I mean, it was just, he was a rampage. But my collie, my other dogs, I didn't have those issues. Oreo, hold on. I didn't have those issues. I could just be out there and we're fine. I didn't have to like be micromanaged and have to use no words and do no nothing. So I was like, I had a disconnect in my own life going on. And when I go back to saying, hey, you want to chase? Let's get it out. Because my Johnny, the thing that he really just likes he's kind of simple with his chase, is to chase a ball. And he really, I don't know what his main jam, but I can't do it as often. I mean, I can't even let him chase the ball too often. But throwing a stick in the lake, throwing a stick in some water. He likes to go swim out there, grab it, swim back. This dude will do that until he's stumbling. Like he really, that's something super simple that's in him. None of my other dogs really care to do that. This dude will swim out there. He'll swim. And then he'll come on back. And I just let him do that, and he got that fulfillment out that he needed to get out. But in reality, when I first got the dude, that was not an option. That was like, no, buddy, you can't chase. You can't run after things like that, because then you're just going to want to chase after the cows even more. And that's not the case. That's just not true. I see that in my own personal world, and it doesn't have to be. This is the thing. On the whole hunting side, they're using the dogs to go hunt live animals. Your dog doesn't need a live animal. We have fake things to be able to get the dogs that same desires. Are they going to be, say, as intense? Maybe not. They're not going to be as intense chasing a trash bag as they are a live pigeon. But you can build that intensity through time. And you could be able to channel that intensity to be something more tailored towards being, I don't know how to say this, other than being in a more controlled way, that it's knowing that this is how I got it with my Dalmatian so good. That she chases these bags. And she never cares to chase a single animal outside at all, period. The intensity to chase these bags is like so strong that everything else, she just like, I don't care about anything else anymore. This bag is her whole world. Her whole world is the chase a grocery bag. It's impressive to see. And I've like say stripped out everything else because I made this be so valuable. So valuable, a grocery bag. And what's crazy is I buy groceries. It's not like I don't have them, so I'm walking stuff around and I have them around. She doesn't chase them and go try to chew on them and try to play with them, only when we're in that game sense set setting. That's the only time that she gets this obsessive craziness to her. Every other time, it's just chill. We're hanging out. We're just relaxed. Because I probably got a bag somewhere around here laying around. More than likely, I got bags. No, there's a little bag thing there. But I got a bag right there. She's not like, no, it's only time and place. And I allow her to chase, allow her to run, allow her to get it, and then bam, when we're not in that, we're good to go. And I do that with every single one of my dogs across the board. My Kahi, my shepherd, I'm trying to convince him to chase a little bit more because he has it in him. He's been stripped from him. And I even doubled down on that strip with putting him on the trails and using my e-collar to every time he would see deer and try to take off on it, I'll just give him that tap, tap, no, get back here, heel, and you're walking with me. Like I was very strict on never chase nothing ever, period, nothing. So that's why he sniffs galore like crazy, but he still has that chase in him. So I'm trying to build the spirits up to we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. And he's eventually you'll watch him chase the lure course and chase the flirt pole and do all the same stuff. I'm building him up because I can see that he wants it, especially when he gets to playing with another dog. He loves the chase thing, but some dogs, they don't like to be chased. And so he wants to chase. They don't like to be chased. He's a little excessive with his chase. So then he brings this tension that doesn't need to be there. So if I can get him to chase somewhere else to be able to get all that excessiveness out, then he'll be able to integrate into being something more enjoyable to want to be around, is all that I can say.